I mean, how do you not get excited when you see all those goals and action in indoor soccer? I mean, it's fun. This is our first video podcast for the Strikers. I'm Andrew Haines, co-owner. I'm with head coach Martin Gramatica. How's it going over there?
Good, man. I'm excited, and I feel bad for the goalies. The goalies get blasted, so we need to make sure that's we're gonna start building from the back. So we're gonna find an excellent goalie to start with.
You got to have a short-term memory too, I would think, being a goalkeeper. But I see those shots at how hard they're coming. There's no way I would want to sit in that goal and take a shot from these guys or gals. So.
Well, being a goalie is I equate it to being a kicker. You can make 20 saves, you make one mistake, and now everybody blames you for the loss. So
yeah,
so,
or a DB. DB gets beat once, and
Right. So you have to have short memory, and you've got to be confident, and it takes a special person to be a keeper. So we're looking for that perfect combination.
So, it kind of came about like, I got referred to you from, some media people. We started the interview process. We were pretty deep in conversations with a couple people. And I remember the first, this was maybe the first or right before the press conference. And they were like, hey, we got somebody you should consider. And I was like, wait, a football guy? Well, I'm a football guy. I used to own arena football teams and play, but I was like, man, I love this idea. This is out of the box a little bit. But does he know anything about soccer? And I think that's probably what most people are always ask too, because they know you as, Tampa Bay Bucks, Super Bowl kicker, playing in the NFL, but they don't know your soccer background. So like, tell people like when you started playing soccer and when you got into coaching.
Well, I'm originally from Argentina, so I had a soccer ball in my crib. So soccer's been part of my life. My first tournament in Argentina, I was 3 years old. So we started young over there. And so
what?
3 years old, I have a little medal in 1978. So I don't know how much soccer we were doing. We were just chasing the ball around. But that's part of our culture. It's in our blood. And I always say I love football. But that was my job. My passion's always been soccer. And then when I started coaching after I retired, I coach soccer. I mean, I get calls every day. Can you coach my kid? He's a kicker. And I just don't enjoy that because for me, it came very natural. So I don't see kicking as I don't enjoy coaching. My brother Santiago is excellent at it. So I refer him to him. I said, if you want to kick, Santiago's the best coach. I love coaching soccer. I like the action. And just being involved in the game, and anybody that knows and watch me coach, they probably think I'm crazy, but that's just the way I feel the game. I love the game, and I want to teach our players to hate to lose. That's the way I grew up, and that's what we need to have. That mentality that you hate losing more than you love winning. So that's how I take it out on the field. That's how I approach every game, and I still can't believe the way everything worked out because again. Everybody thinks I'm this football guy that's never played soccer, never coached, but every kicker now has a soccer background pretty much, whether at a young age or even college level. So soccer's been in my life, my whole life.
I mean, most people probably know, but I remember you telling me, I mean, you didn't really start playing football until like your senior year of high school, right? Or in high school. So it's not like you were a football player. You were really a soccer guy. So
even in the NFL, I wasn't a football player. I didn't know how to tackle. So my post last week, my slide tackle.
I saw it. Yeah, I like it.
I didn't have. Well, I was never taught how to tackle because I never played Pop Warner. I didn't play any other position. So anytime a big guy would come through, I either try to slide tackle or get run over. So I figured I'd go for the slide tackle.
Oh, that's good. That's good. No, well, I can tell you this from being out at the tryouts. I mean, very, and even before, but just seeing you out there on the field, you know your stuff. The players respect you right away. The staff that you put together is phenomenal as well. So I'm really excited about building this team with you and seeing you guys get out there. But we just had the tryouts about almost 2 weeks ago. Had about 100 people come out. How did that kind of meet your expectations as far as the number of people and just the quality of players?
I think it exceeded my expectation on both sides. The amount of players that showed up, the interest that the community has in our indoor team is unbelievable. Everywhere I go, people don't even know my name anymore. They call me coach, which is it's kind of awkward when I'm walking around one buck, hanging out with people that have never called me coach. They're calling me coach now. So the word's getting out that we have a team, which is amazing because we need people to know that we're around and we want people to come and check out the games. But the tryout, I thought we blew it out of the water. With Cinco Soccer did a phenomenal job with the fields and the hospitality and the amenities were excellent. But you can have a big number with bad players and you're like, man, that's a waste of time. We had a lot of talent show up, which was more impressive as well. On the women's side, it was incredible. I mean, out of the 30 women, you could pretty much we could fill the roster right away with the amount of women that came out and the talent that came out. The men,
and they got some strong credentials too. The women, that were out there. It's like you had some from national teams. You've had some from some pretty big Division I college programs. So the credentials were really strong.
Big time credentials. Yeah. Puerto Rican national team, Belize, I think, national team as well. So we have
Virgin Islands. Yeah.
Virgin Islands.
Yeah.
And then we have USF players, UT, some. So we've got a variety. And a lot of these girls play together as well. They either played in college, they played youth together. So the chemistry, which is hard to build, could already be built before you even start because they all know each other. A lot of them play in the leagues, local leagues. So that I was very impressed.
Yeah.
Yes, I was very impressed on the female side and very excited about that. And then on the men, we had obviously a lot of volume, but we did have a good core of talent where 18 to 20 players that are very talented. But the biggest thing, we visited UT yesterday, and they have about 8 to 10 seniors that may possibly, hopefully, be interested in playing as well. And the talent there was phenomenal. And I feel like they already have I would say the work ethic and the training, and a lot of because they're in a college program that's ran like a professional program. So that would be a great asset to the players that we already saw. So the whole combination, I think, is going to be. I'm beyond excited. I mean, I was kind of worried at first, thinking who's going to come out or where we're going to play from, and then all of a sudden, the more we get the word out, the better the talent that's come out.
Well, and we really are focused on that local and regionalized player, and so like at first, I've always been in sports where it's like you're housing the entire team. They're coming from all over the world and have no ties there, but like there's so much talent in this region. It's amazing. And I know first thought is probably like, can I field a good team with local players? And man, there's so many good college programs here. I mean, even St. Leo, USF, even down south to FGCU. I mean, they've got a good soccer program. So, and I know I think we had a few people from FGCU at tryouts and have signed a few USF players. So talent's there. I mean, you're doing a good job getting that put together. From the tryouts, what do you think? I mean, some players are going to get signed. I think you and Gary Tufford, our GM, are working on getting contracts out to some of the players now, right?
Yes, we had a meeting yesterday with both Chris Reese, one of the assistants, and then Chris Santos. So it make it easier for the players. Both the assistants are named Chris, so there's no issue there. Chris and Chris, big Chris, little Chris. So we had a meeting, the four of us, and we selected 10 women that we're going to sign, and then 6 guys that we're going to sign. But what we're telling them is that, look, this doesn't guarantee you a spot on the team. This gives you a chance to come to camp, basically, because we're going to start hopefully practicing in about 2 to 3 weeks, at least once or twice a week to get to know everybody. And then closer to the season, then we'll start the full-time practice. Right now, we just want to get them together to see them a little bit because, with one tryout, you could have a bad day and it could be a great player that just had a bad day, or vice versa. You could have a player that's really not that good but just showed out and had his best day of his life, and all of a sudden. So we want to make sure we weave out the ones that we feel that can't make it or won't be committed. That's the other thing too. I want players that are committed and committed to our morals. The way we want to build a team, like a family, accountability, trust. that type of stuff. Because at the end of the day, I don't know if there's a player good enough to make us, deviate from our beliefs. I know there's not in this area. I mean, they're all good, but there's not a Ronaldo or a Messi out there that you say, okay, let me look the other way for a little bit, which will never. So, so we're gonna build a team first, a family first, and then soccer. The soccer part's the easy part. We just got to build that chemistry.
Yeah, I think that's important, especially with a new team. I mean, the good thing is our league is fairly new. Memphis and Fayetteville, Columbus, they all have had a season under their belt, so they have a leg up with that chemistry. But I think building the locker room first and having that good foundation is definitely the right way to do it, and it's the way we feel as an ownership group too. I mean, this is a family run business. There's a half dozen of us that have ownership in the Strikers and all the teams like that. So we want this to be family friendly. We want this to be like, hey, we're brothers and sisters, and we're there for each other on and off the field. So I'm glad that you have that same approach with it. I think that's one of the reasons why we clicked when we first started talking. The other big thing that I think you and I strongly agree on is community, and you have done that even from your days playing football, but you've continued to be active in the community and give back, and that's one of my number one priorities with our team here in the Tampa Bay area.
Yes, and anybody that played under Coach Dungy, he made sure that we were better people off the field. And then, like I said, the soccer, the football took care of itself, So he pretty much led the way when it came to being part of the community, wanted us to do events, and it's contagious. There's so many players that stuck around from that era that are still doing all that stuff. This couple of days ago, I played in Derek Bro's golf tournament. Mike Allstat does a lot. Ronde's always around. Warren Sapp's always doing local charity work here as well. So we have guys that love the community, and we all learned that from Coach Dungy. And I love that about what we're going to do with the Strikers is we're going to be part of the community. Not only are we going to put a great product on the field and a winning product, we want to make sure that the fans and the community is proud for the work we do in the community as well. So our players are going to be heavily involved, or at least we're going to encourage them. We hope they buy in, and I think they will, because so far, from what I've seen, it's good quality people. That's the most important thing for me.
It's key. Yep.
The players that came out the tryouts, very respectful. We didn't have any issues, no bad apples. Everybody was happy, excited, and it was midday in a very hot day on the turf.
It was hot.
Nobody complained. I didn't hear one complaint. Hey, why did you do it this time or that time? And for us, that's important, because we don't want to have whiny players. You got to go out there to work, and when you work, good things happen. So this was an excellent group when it came to that. I didn't hear one complaint about being too hot or tired. I mean, there were some guys and I don't know if I saw any girls cramp out, but I know there were some guys cramp out, and they're still stretching, trying to get back in. So right. Nobody quit, and everybody worked hard.
What was your take? I brought in the other teams in the league for some league meetings for like the week, and I wanted them at the tryout as well. And so what was that like, kind of meeting your competitors and, kind of working together a little bit and chatting, getting to know those guys?
No, it was really cool to meet him. I just don't know if I could trust him with the talent scouting, Listen, if I was
like,
if I
hey,
was under the shoe,
here's my number.
That guy with 2 left feet, he should be your starter. No. At the end of the day, the more successful and the more competitive the league is, the better for all of us. So we're all helping each other out. So if we need to help, if there's a player that can't make our team because location, but he lives near Orlando, we're going to say, look, we have a team in Orlando. Go see if you can make that team. So, at the end of the day, we want the league to be successful. Obviously, we're going to compete to win. But like I said, we can be best friends off the field. But once that whistle blows, I'm going to do everything in my humanly possible to beat you. And then after the game's over, we're friends again. It's like family. You've got to separate. But those guys, every coach was very helpful. They helped us scout. The more eyes we can have, when you have over 100 players show up, you need a lot of people, a lot of eyes on them. Because if not, you're going to miss some. And at times, look, we may have missed a couple that were brought into the field where we thought the better competition, and then they went in there and competed with a better. So all those eyes really helped to get the top players on the same field, so we can basically judge good with good. Not to say that the other ones weren't, but there was another level that we needed to get to. So and then I know Corey wants to talk trash, but don't worry. I'm pretty good at that, and I have some 2 good assistants that don't shut up either. So it'll be 3v1. I hope he doesn't have a lot of talking assistants.
That's gonna be a fun one to watch. But what are you thinking as far as more tryouts? Do you think you're gonna have another tryout or 2?
Yes, yeah. The plan is, and we talked about this with Gary, we're going to do an invite only tryout now. So with the players that we selected from the first try, we're going to invite all those back. Even the ones that are signed, we want to come back. And then there's a couple that were out of town that have college experience, one or 2 of them even professional experience, that'll possibly hopefully make the next one because they couldn't make the first one. So we're going to do an invite only tryout. We're hoping in the next week or 2, well, 2 to 3 weeks.
So tell us a little bit about what you do outside of soccer. I know Lifeguard Imaging, we're a partner with us, and that's saving lives all over. Tell us a little bit about Lifeguard and the other stuff that you have going on off the field.
Yeah, well, the Lifeguard, I started 8 months ago, and I was a patient first and then became part of the team because, again, I love the message. I love what it was doing. And I thought it was a slogan first that we're saving 1 to 3 lives a day through early detection. But now that I've been in the office pretty much every day for 8 months, we see it every single day. We see 15 patients a day, and they're preventative scans. So when patients come in, they get a scan from the neck to the pelvis, that's where hundreds of cancers, that's where the mid region is where most of our deadly cancers develop. So we have a CT scan that basically gives us a 3D image of every organ. So we can catch anything at the earliest stage. And what we do is we have a 5-year program where patients scan yearly. So the first scan is great because we set a baseline. But then from there, by scanning every year, if anything were to change from year 2 to 3 or 3 to 4, you catch it at the early stage and you survive it. And then with heart disease, that's where we see the most of our cases. Patients that are 100% healthy, feel great, look like, we've had triathletes come in that have heart disease.
Yeah.
We had a personal friend of mine that came in and had 95% blockage in the LAD, had a stent put in 2 weeks later that saved her life. She was a ticking time bomb. Probably would not be alive today if it wasn't for our scan. So I encourage anybody that wants.
And I think that's a big misconception too. Like sometimes people think, oh, I run every day. I'm not overweight. I don't smoke. I don't drink. Like it doesn't matter. I mean, you still could have these issues. And the scan. I did the scan, and it's such an easy and quick process too. I mean, it's about 10 minutes, if that, 15 minutes, 7 minutes. There you go.
If you do the heart, 4 minutes, the full body 7. The thing is, no, that's a great point, Andrew, because we can't judge anybody by the way they look, because sometimes you see the fittest play. No, what I'm saying is we see
on one extreme.
Well, we see like a super fit person that has heart disease. Yeah. And then when you see other people say, oh, they probably have something, they don't live the healthiest lifestyle now.
Right.
They're 100% zero calcium in their heart. So even family history, there's no way to judge what anybody's heart looks like unless you go inside with a scan like ours. So it's been awesome. I've enjoyed it. Out of everything that I've ever done in my life, this is something that I've never thought I'd ever do, but it's really something that it's rewarding, because I mean, I've never thought I'd ever save somebody's life, and I could say that we're saving people's lives through early detection.
Yeah. What's the website? How do people learn more about it or set up an appointment?
Yes, it's lifeguardimaging.com. And then on my Instagram, they can just send me a message. I just put that address on there, but they can call the office. And we have a promotion for anybody that hears us through the podcast. We can do a free heart scan. So just reach out to me. We'll get them a free heart scan.
Sweet. It's definitely worth it. No matter, where you're at fitness wise or where you think you are, just get it done. It doesn't hurt to just, check and make sure that, you're being preventative as much as possible and ahead of it. Cause early detection, I think, is key in a lot of this stuff as well.
Definitely. And nobody's doing it. We're one of 5 offices in the country that do preventative scans with a 5-year program, or a program where we can scan patients yearly. So it's something that there not too many people know about. But we have patients coming from all over the world. I had a friend from Argentina that came in yesterday to get a scan. We hung out.
Wow.
It gave us a chance to catch up. We haven't seen each other, but now he scanned yesterday. I had a friend of mine 2 months ago come in, and obviously from all over the United States as well, because there's not any off. There are only 5 in the country. We're opening up our second office in Scottsdale, Arizona. Hopefully by the December or January, that'll be open. And our goal is to open 1 to 5 a year. So hopefully in the next few years, we have lifeguards all over the country.
Well, I see you bringing a lot of your friends in there, a lot of celebrities and former athletes, getting all your friends, making sure they're healthy. And, I'm glad that you guys, you pushed me to get in there too, just to, see. And, it's like the waiting period. It's like nerve wracking a little bit. Like, man, this thing's going to come back, bad. What's going to happen?
The peace of mind, though, after, Andrew, when everything's fine, or depending at a certain age, you're going to have minor things that are aging things, but nothing serious. So for me, my wife and I, the peace of mind once we got our scans and everything was fine. So now I know if my stomach hurts or my chest hurts, it's not serious. You can get it checked out, whatever, but it's not something deadly. So by scanning yearly, if anything were to develop, now I'll catch it at the earliest stage. Nobody wants anything, but if it does happen, it'll be early enough that hopefully you survive it. So yeah, I'm telling all my friends, and I'm encouraging all my friends, but a lot of them still say, I don't want to know. And the thing is, I tell them, you're always going to know. You're either going to know today when it's early, or you're going to know when it's too late. So I've encouraged all my friends to come in.
Yeah. Well, no, that's great. So check out that, reach out to Martin if you want to get that scan or learn more. Check out tbstrikers.com. We have season tickets available. Looks like our home opener is going to be sometime in January. We're working through the schedule now, but hopefully over the next month or so, we'll have that schedule out, but it's looking like January. Martin, thanks for joining me. I know you got to run. And we'll make sure we do more of these videos and try to give everyone, a little bit more information behind the scenes.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, thanks, Andrew. And I'm excited, man, and especially with all the talent that's coming out. And we're going to keep looking at all the universities. So we'll have a lot of news coming up soon. So hopefully, we'll keep it rolling.